Yeah, you see that?
Oh.
What is that?
Oh.
Yeah, that's an apple, right? Yeah. Hey everybody, a lot of people have been asking how my little princess is doing. Here she is, little Trinity, 23 months old. And I want to talk with you today a little bit about the secret to overcoming procrastination. So I'm going to put this little princess down and I'm going to run to my office and we're going to have a nice little talk. See you in there. Say bye, Trinity. Bye. Okay. All right, here we are. Now, the reason I wanted to make this video, and I want to keep it brief because I can tend to go on and on and on because I've been studying this stuff for 25 years, but I've actually had people come to me throughout my time working with people and coaching people in the direct selling and network marketing space, and they've come to me and they've actually openly said that they're a procrastinator or that they've tended to procrastinate. And I know this is a major downfall for anyone who's seeking success. So just real briefly, I'm going to see how quick I can get this done. We're going to see if we can knock this out real quick. I'm going to refer to the granddaddy of all wealth creation, self-help books, Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. This is a copy of the original version, restored and revised, which I recommend. If you've got, I've got a few different versions of this book, but I recommend you get the original text the way the author originally said it. There's reasons for that. And it has to do with words. So I think that the secret to overcoming any obstacle or perceived obstacle is to really understand the enemy, right? To focus on the enemy and to understand, in contrast, what is the opposite of that. Now I'm going to quote from this book from two different chapters. Okay, the final chapter, which is the epilogue, The 6 Ghosts of Fear, and the chapter on decision. I want you to see what Napoleon Hill says, and I think you're going to find just through a few words, just a couple of sentences, you're going to find some secrets. Okay, here's the first one. This is from the epilogue, The 6 Ghosts of Fear. It says here, indecision is the seedling of fear. And remember this as you read. Indecision crystallizes doubt. The two blend and become fear. This blending process often is slow. This is one reason why these three enemies are so dangerous. He's talking about indecision, doubt, and fear. Okay, they germinate and grow without their presence being observed. Okay, so remember that indecision is the seedling of fear. Now, what productive, creative action can come from a fearful mind? Think about that. Not much, if any. Okay, here's the other quote. This is from chapter 7, the chapter on decision. Check this out. And there's some famous quotes that have been said over and over and over again in this book, like, let's see here. Analysis of several hundred people who had accumulated fortunes well beyond the $1 million mark disclosed the fact that every one of them had the habit of reaching decisions promptly and of changing these decisions slowly if and when they were changed. People who fail to accumulate money without exception have the habit of reaching decisions, if at all, very slowly and changing these decisions quickly and often. Okay, now just before that, in this same chapter, here's what he says. One sentence. Procrastination, the opposite of decision, is a common enemy which practically every individual must conquer. So here in the 6 Ghosts of Fear, he's talking about this indecision is the seedling of fear. And here he gives us the secret in a previous chapter on decision that procrastination, the opposite of decision, aha. So what's the real enemy, right? The enemy is procrastination. What's the opposite of that? What's the contrast, the most extreme contrast you can find to procrastination? Decision. So procrastination and indecision are one and the same. How do you overcome procrastination then? Make decisions. I mean, it's truly that simple, and that's why I'm able to keep this really brief. And yes, I've got a whole book in my head that I'm going to be producing concerning decision-making in the age of information, which is, I believe, the times we're living in. But if you just think about that one thing that you can do to overcome procrastination right now is make decisions. And a simple way to do that is to say, all right, what are the most important things that I need to get done in my day? Okay, and write those down, order them in importance, and do the first one, and then don't go on to the second one until you complete the first one, and you'll get more stuff done. It's an easy way to prioritize. Okay, now does that mean that every decision you or I make is the right decision? No. No, okay. I've made lots of blunders. In fact, in a video that I'm going to release later on today, it's going to be called Who Stole My Mojo? So look out for that. I'm going to show you some of the just ridiculous ass kickings that I've taken over the years. Okay, I don't think anybody goes through life just making all the right decisions. Okay, but there are ways to get our mojo back and to pick ourselves up. Okay, and so, I mean, if you're a true success seeker and if you're looking to overcome any procrastination that has kept you going slow and maybe doubting yourself and you know, getting into a fearful state and failing to create with all the potential that you have, it's just as simple as making the decision. So, 2 questions that successful people ask themselves when making decisions. Okay, number 1, and they do this whether they know it or not. Number 1 is, will this action move me in the direction of my goals, of what I want, my desires? Okay, and if the answer is yes, the second question is, will this action hurt or diminish or violate the rights of others? Okay, and if the answer is no, then there is no third question. We just take the action. Okay, it's a very simple equation, and it makes decision making a whole lot quicker. Will this move me in the direction I want to go? Will this hurt other people? If yes and no, action, right? And I want you to think about this, because this is great philosophy, and we could sit and say, oh yeah, I got it, man, intellectually that's great. Okay, but to know and to not to do is not to know. Okay, so we could also say to decide and not to act is to not have decided. Our decisions are revealed by our action. That's how we know what we decided, because we see ourselves doing it. Sit on that. Check out my later video coming out today, and I will see you next time. Have a great day. You deserve it. Bye-bye.